What's up, investors? What's up, traders? Ken here from the Dyslexic Investor. I'm going to be looking at more Wall Street bet analysis, fundamentals, the DD, the due diligence, all within Reddit Wall Street Bets. A couple things that really come to mind is Microsoft panic sellers. This individual of it says coronavirus is a biological virus, not a computer virus that can affect computers. Very smart. Microsoft is immune to a biologic virus and technically cannot go down. Anyone who knows this box works knows Microsoft can only go up. His position is Microsoft 200 and expires this Friday for his call. Guessing that. And the very first racket says you only need Microsoft to raise nearly 23 to 25% in 2 days to be in the money. I don't see that happening at the close of the week. So that is one of the comments. But then, of course, CNBC put out a bit that just a couple minutes ago, or maybe a little bit longer, around 4 o'clock. So this is like recording this a little bit later. First of all, the Microsoft guidance for its personal computing unit has been under the weather, aka the coronavirus health situation in China. It will not be making its first earnings of what they made in the prediction of their last previous guidance. So they're guiding down. This is exactly what Apple did a little bit ago. They guided down last week, saying that, hey, revenue within iPhones and different things like that, because we're closing a lot of stores, is indicating that the sales within these computer devices are not going to be up to par on what we recommended. The overall strike of coronavirus is much more substantial than before. So that being said, that's I wouldn't say it's super scary, but you can see here, I also wanted to point out that Wall Street Bets literally made the cover of Bloomberg Business Week on how Reddit takes over YOLO stock analysis and buying calls and leaps and so forth. Fantastic. Definitely check it out. Nice little article about that. Lovely, lovely, lovely. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the analysis of Microsoft. Excuse me. So the announcement came out after the close today, so we'll just gonna dive down right to maybe like a 15-minute chart, and we're gonna look at this chart here. So this is again a 15-minute chart, and it closed at 170 basically, and it crashed down to 165 and then kind of is bouncing around, and now currently trading around like 167-ish, 166.95 or something. So that being said, let's go back to the daily chart to see how that. So we're looking at 165, 166.95 there, right there. I was going to do create an alert at or below there. So that's probably where it's going to open up tomorrow morning, but potentially even lower, depending on how the buying goes in the next couple days. You can see here on the daily chart, we have 1, 2, 3 pretty aggressive days of buys, of showing support here, and I see support here at the 167 level at the 55 exponential moving average, and that's the little red dotted line you can kind of see here. It's been a minute since we've been testing it, but we did test it this summer. We kind of came down nearly to it beginning of the last year. Let's zoom this out just a little bit more to a weekly chart. You can kind of see here Microsoft has literally been on a tear, and on the weekly chart the moving averages haven't crossed over yet, but that could be a potential with the overall market dragging down. That could indicate that we could be seeing some lower lows. So what am I doing? I did actually buy some Microsoft today at the 169 level, actually 170 level, excuse me, and that this is only like a quarter position, and potentially want to add more if it comes down substantially. What do I mean by substantially? We've had a pretty monstrous move basically since October. So we're just going to take the low of October to basically the high and beginning of February, and we're looking at 40%, and we're looking at nearly $53 from that last point here. That's a pretty monstrous run. On a weekly chart, you can see that we did break out on the last quarter way through the third deviation, and now we're just coming back down to earth. So can I see Microsoft fall even more? Of course I can. I can see Microsoft falling to 160, even down extreme potentials, the 145 and the 140 level. Again, these are going to be extreme corrections in the stock, but anything can happen. There is no crystal ball. You have to be ready for almost anything to happen in the market. So let's go look at a little more analysis here. On the weekly chart, we were completely overbought. And this has happened multiple times in the past, but we just kind of come back down to the 21, which the 21 is around 160. So we're like $6 or $7 from that. So we could potentially drop $6 or $7 more from that. So that's another 8%, 8 to 9% more drop in that fashion, potentially even more, because it usually just kind of crosses over it. But that being said, the momentum has changed here on the weekly chart. Let's actually pop this out at the daily. Momentum has drastically changed because it's usually fairly daily. It has kind of curled here on the RSI. Potentially would like to see this come just a little bit lower and kind of level off. Let's pull this up here on the 4-hour chart. So the 4-hour chart is going to be super aggressive for more than I do. So 4-hour chart basically plots things quite aggressively. So that being said, you can kind of see here I have this initial price target at 163, and if it breaks out above 175, and it breaks out and continues to hold it, it's very one for the good boys. But the only thing is very concerning, as we know on this channel, is let's put it back to the daily. The purple or the pink has crossed into the yellow, and that usually means there's ensuing trouble. A lot of people aren't predicting a V-shaped bottom in that fact to allow us to continue the rally and the trend. I don't think that is going to happen. We've been very far from the yellow line. I think things need to kind of come in, consolidate, and continue to trade, because this volume that we've had today has been quite substantial. As you can see here, this is on a daily chart still. There hasn't been anything really on record that has traded this high and this amount of volume. What I'm pointing out is these blue bars down here. This is the volume. I can give you a better perspective on when I show you. Let's go. Whoops, sorry, my bad. Go right here. We're gonna go to the daily. So you can kind of see here, these are much more higher volumes. We're talking 65-ish million, 70 million shares traded, and that is nearly double of what the average volume is over about a month. That volume has been picking up today, kind of leveling off, but with the news of them guiding down for the upcoming quarter, could be potentially a little more downside coming. Again, just like the very intelligent Wall Street Bets analyst said, it's a biological virus. Analyst said it's a biological virus, not a computer virus, but mind the joke of this does slow down the economy, and the people of worry of not being able to produce the right amount of chips and the different various parts that it requires to create and work on a lot of the Windows operating systems and so forth. There's going to be overall slowdown economically speaking. So that being said, if you guys have any questions, comments down below, please let me know. Again, this is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.